Good morning to all. Can I please ask for you to mute yourself and keep your videos off, please? A warm welcome to you all and to this special program titled Creating Hope Through Actions Among Children During a Pandemic. Today is 10th of September, which marks the World Suicide Prevention Day. Sri Lanka Sumitrayo has initiated this program together with the Lions Club of Colombo Host with the intention of creating awareness about preventing suicides, especially among our dearest children of Sri Lanka. ඔබ සැබට සුබ උදෑසනක්. වසංගත සමයේ ක්‍රියාවන් හරහා දරුවන් තුළ අපේක්ෂා ගොඩ නැගීම නැමැති අපගේ විශේෂ වැඩසටහනට ඔබ සාදරයෙන් පිළිගනිමු. මෙම වැඩසටහන සංවිධානය කරනු ලබන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා සුමිත්‍රයෝ සහ කොළඹ සත්කාරක සිංහ සමාජය විසිනි. අද සැප්තැම්බර් 10 වෙනිදා ලෝක සියදිවි නසා ගැනීම වැළැක්වීමේ දිනයයි. ශ්‍රී ලංකා සුමිත්‍රයෝ මෙම වැඩසටහන දියත් කරේ විශේෂයෙන් අපේ ආදරණීය ශ්‍රී ලාංකික දරුවන් අතර සිදුවන සියදිවි නසා ගැනීම වැළැක්වීම පිළිබඳව ඔබ දැනුවත් කිරීම සඳහා. අපි ආරම්භ කිරීමට පෙර සියදිවි නසා ගැනීම සඳහා සියදිවි නසා ගැනීම සහ කොවිඩ් මරණ සිහිපත් කරමින් තප්පර කිහිපයක් අපි නිහඬ වෙමු. Before we start off the program, can we observe a few seconds of silence in remembrance of suicide deaths and COVID victims? Thank you, Stuti. Let's start the program. At any time of this program, you can send in your questions via the chat box Q&A section, and we will try to answer these at the end of the program. ඔබගේ ප්‍රශ්න පහළ chat box එකේ අපි වෙත එවන්න. අපි ඒවට වැඩසටහන අවසානයේ පිළිතුරු ලබා දෙන්නම්. අපි දැන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා සුමිත්‍රයෝ සභාපතිනි කුමුදිනී ද සිල්වා මහත්මියට වචන කිහිපයක් කියන්නට ආරාධනා කරමු. We would like to invite Mrs. Kumudini De Silva, Chairperson Sri Lanka Sumitrayo, to say a few words. Kumudini, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Ayubowan, Suba Udasanak Obasamata. It is my pleasure as Chairperson of Sri Lanka Sumitrayo to welcome all of you to Creating Hope Among Children during a Pandemic webinar to commemorate World Suicide Prevention Day. I extend a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Dr. Miyuru Chandradasa. Thank you very much, Doctor, for accepting our invitation and for being with us in spite of your busy schedule. President Lion Asita Pinnaduwa and the members of Lions Club of Colombo Host, our grateful thanks for agreeing to be a partner in this endeavor. I would like to speak a few words about Sri Lanka Sumitrayo. Sri Lanka Sumitrayo was founded by late Mrs. Joan Dimel in 1974 to give emotional support to people who are going through distress and despair and even maybe considering suicide. We have expanded and have 10 branches and spread across the island, a rural program in the northwestern and the southern provinces, covering more than 120 villages. We also have set up an outreach unit to proactively reach out to provide much needed emotional support to vulnerable people who are unable to come to our branches. Our volunteers are the backbone of our organization. They provide a remarkable service without expecting anything in return at no charge. Today, we commemorate World Suicide Prevention Day. Suicide is preventable, and preventing suicide is everyone's responsibility. This year's theme is creating hope through action. We are in the midst of an unprecedented global calamity, the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic, its associated lockdowns, travel restrictions, the mounting death toll, and the inability to conduct basic human interactions are causing much distress, leaving many more people vulnerable to mental health issues, socio-economic crisis, relationships, and domestic problems. The effect of these are most keenly felt by our children, who are confined to enclosed spaces and removed from schools, activities, friends, and family for almost 2 years. Can you imagine what they must be feeling? They must be going through a whole gamut of feelings, from hopelessness and frustration to anger, anxiety, and stress. Parents who have become school teachers as well, in addition to balancing their own work responsibilities and financial issues, are overwhelmed and tired, causing much stress, creating more conflicts among both children and parents, making things more harder on the children. The future of our country is our children. We have to invest very wisely on them. Not only money, but our time, our love and care on their physical and mental well-being. So how can we help them? The topic today is creating hope among children during a pandemic. I am sure our eminent speaker, Dr. Miyuru Chandradasa, will enlighten us on how best this could be achieved. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Lions Club of Colombo host for partnering with us to have this webinar today. We couldn't have organized this so well without their unstinted support. Thank you, Suranjini, for introducing them to us. I must thank our publicity team, headed by Dil, for all their hard work at short notice to make this happen. We appreciate it very much. Once again, I welcome all of you very warmly and thank you for your participation. I hope that today inspires ideas and discussion around the ways how best we could nurture our future generation. Prevention of suicide cannot be done alone. As a society, we have to work together and strive hard to build a healthy and happy society. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson Kumudini. I would like to quickly introduce our special guest speaker today, Dr. Miyuru Chandradasa. He is a board-certified medical specialist in emotional, behavioral, and learning issues in children and adolescents, and works as a consultant child and adolescent psychiatrist at the Ragama Teaching Hospital. Dr. Miyuru is a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Kelaniya. He obtained his MBBS and MD Psychiatry from Colombo, Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Advanced Training from Australia, and he is a member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, United Kingdom. Dr. Chandradasa also previously worked as a senior lecturer at the Monash University in Australia. මෙම වැඩසටහන ආරම්භ කිරීමට සඳහා අපගේ විශේෂ ආරාධිත රාගම මහරෝහලේ වෛද්‍ය උපදේශක ළමා සහ යෝන් මනෝචිකිත්සක සහ කැලණි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ කථිකාචාර්ය වෛද්‍ය පීඨයේ වෛද්‍ය ආචාර්ය මිරු චන්ද්‍රදාස මහතාට ඔහුගේ ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමට අපි ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කරමු. Doctor, over to you.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank Sumitrayo. Over the last many decades have done a wonderful and immense service to the mental health of Sri Lankan people, and especially to the President, Mrs. Kumudini De Silva, for her enormous support and guidance. I would also like to thank the Lions Club of Colombo for supporting this process, and your kind gestures throughout the past decades have made lives beautiful for many people in this country. So today we are going to discuss about creating hope through actions among children during the pandemic. So this is to commemorate the World Suicide Prevention Day with Sumitrayo. First, let's take a few minutes to understand why preventing suicide among teens is very important. If you look at data coming from world over, you can see that over the last few years, the number of completed suicides among teenagers have risen rapidly. නවයෝන් වියේ සීදිවි නසා ගැනීම සම්පූර්ණ කිරීම පසුගිය දශක ගණනාව තුළ ඉතාමත් ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ graph එක දිහා හොඳින් බැලුවොත් ඔබට පේනවා in dark blue color the suicides completed between 20 to 24 years, and in red color in late teenagers අවුරුදු 15 සිට 19 දක්වාත් කොළ පාටින් early adolescents from 10 to 14 years are shown. You can see in all these three categories, world over, the completed suicide rates have risen. So this is an increasing, impending danger that we have not recognized enough. එතකොට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට when there's a suicide, recently if you have been aware, there was a reported suicide from southern Sri Lanka of a teenager related to heavy screen use and probably untreated inattention. එවැනි තමන්ටම තමා හිංසා කිරීමක් සිදු වුණාම අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg, because there is a lot of underneath psychological issues and risks that we do not recognize. So after this suicide in southern Sri Lanka, there were hundreds of calls about why this has happened. But this has been going on for years, and as child psychiatrists, we have been battling this on our own for many years, obviously with support of great organizations like Sumitrayo. So almost 20% of teenagers will be contemplating and considering suicide. 110ක් ඒක සඳහා යම්කිසි සැලැස්මක් ඇති කරගන්නවා. 9ක් will try to do it, and 3%, only 3% of all the 20% that have considered it will only go to a doctor in a Western country. දැන් ඔස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ මෙල්බර්න් නුවර ගත්තොත් එහෙම මිලියන 3.5ක ජනගහනයට ළමා සහ යෝන් මංස පිළිබඳ විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍යවරුන් 500ක් පමණ ඉන්නවා. නමුත් ලංකාවේ මිලියන 22ක් වූ ජනගහනයටම ඉන්නේ ළමා සහ යෝන් මංස පිළිබඳ විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍යවරුන් 8ක් සහ 9ක් පමණ. එතකොට ඔබට හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන් කොච්චර ප්‍රමාණයක්ද ඒ සඳහා සුදුසු වෛද්‍ය ප්‍රතිකාරයක් ලබා ගන්න කියලා. අපි දැන් ලෝකේ ඊටාම වැදගත්. This is a video made by the Mayo's Clinic, which is a well recognized authority on health information will watch this video, which says and gives very important message about teen suicide.
I have my ups and downs, just like anybody else.
Maybe more than anybody else.
I can be hard to figure out.
And I like my privacy.
I don't want you looking over my shoulder all the time.
But you know your kid better than anybody else. And if you think he's acting different than usual,
Acting really down, crying all the time for no good reason.
Or getting really mad.
Not able to sleep, or sleeping too much.
Shutting her friends out or giving her stuff away.
Acting reckless. Drinking, using drugs. Staying out late.
Suddenly not doing stuff he used to love.
or doing stuff that's just not like him.
It might be nothing to worry about. It might just be high school.
Or it might be something more. He might be depressed.
Not just feeling down, really depressed.
It might be that your kid is thinking about killing himself.
It happens. More than you think. More than it should.
And people say, I had no idea.
I thought it was just a phase he was going through.
I never thought she'd do it.
I wish he'd come to me.
I wish he'd said
I
something.
wish I'd said something.
When it's too late. So if you think your kid's acting different, if she seems like a different person, say something.
Say, what's wrong? How can I help?
And ask straight out. Are you thinking about killing yourself?
It doesn't hurt to ask. In fact, it helps.
When people are thinking about killing themselves, they want somebody to ask.
They want somebody to care.
Maybe you're afraid you'll make it worse if you ask. Like, you'll put the idea in their head.
Believe me, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
In fact, the best way to keep a teenager from killing herself is to ask, are you thinking about killing yourself?
And what if they say yes?
Or maybe.
Or sometimes,
Well, here's what you don't say.
That's crazy.
Don't be such a drama queen.
you're making too much of this.
That boy's not worth killing
Yourself.
over.
That's not going to solve anything.
You're just trying to get attention.
You're not going to kill yourself.
What you do say is,
I'm sorry you're feeling so bad.
How can I help?
We'll get through this together.
Let's keep you safe.
A lot of people think about killing themselves, adults and kids.
most of them never try it, but some of them do. So if your kid says,
I'd be better off dead.
I can't live with
I'm
this.
gonna kill myself,
Take her seriously. Find someone she can talk to about it. Someone who knows how to help.
Sometimes kids want to kill themselves because something happened. A breakup, a failure.
But sometimes it goes deeper, and it's not going to go away by itself.
Get some help. Talk to your doctor.
Or a counselor at school.
Or your minister.
but don't just let it drop.
And make sure that your kid always has someone to turn to. Someone he trusts.
Make a list together right then. 3, 4, 5 names.
Put a suicide hotline number on there too.
Have him keep that list in his wallet, so he always knows where to turn.
Make sure your home is safe.
If you have pills she could use to hurt herself, lock them up.
If you have a gun, don't just lock it up. Get it out of the house. The bullets, too.
And one more thing. If you think your kid might be about to hurt himself, don't leave him alone.
Take him to the emergency room.
Call 911 if you have to.
We all have our ups and downs, but sometimes it's more than that.
If you think something's wrong, the only way to find out is to ask.
Ask straight out. Are you thinking about killing yourself?
Don't wait until you're sure. Trust your gut.
Because it never hurts to ask.
And it can make a big difference.
All the difference.
In your kid's life.
එතකොට ඔබේ නවයුන් වයසේ පුතා දුව මිනිපිරිය මුණුපුරා ජීවිතය ගැන අනතුරක් කරගන්න හිතනවා නම් කරන්න ඕනේ වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි අහන්න අහුම්කන් දෙන්න සහාය දෙන්න. ඒතර ගොඩක් වෙලාවට many people are scared to ask, are you thinking of harming yourself, thinking that we may put the actual thought into their mind. That is not the case. You should always be brave and ask, are you thinking of harming yourself? If so, you need to say that මට ඒක අහන්න ලැබුණට බොහොම කනගාටුයි. නමුත් අපි එකතු වෙලා මේකට විසඳුමක් හොයමු. කිසිම වෙලාවක අපි කියන්න හොඳ නෑ පිස්සු කතා කරන්න එපා. විකාර කියන්න එපා. මොකටද ඔයා මැරෙන්නේ? අපි ඔක්කොම හම්බ කරේ ඔයා වෙනුවෙන්. When you say these crazy stuff, the things can get de-escalate and things can become worse. So listen and listen, support if you come across this situation. To To make children's mental health better, it is essential that the parents interact with children in an appropriate manner. To do that, all parents and maybe grandparents need to learn about parenting styles. So there are basically 4 parenting styles, and you need to learn about all to become better parents and grandparents. The first type is the uninvolved parents. So people would say things like, Mama ඉතින් ගෙදර එනකොට පුතා නිදිනේ කොහොමද ඉතින් එයාට සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ. The wife would say තාත්තා බිසීනේ calls නේ emails නේ එයාට බබත් එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ. එයා ආවත් phone එකේ තමයි. So if you are doing a job, you think that you are earning money to make your children's lives better, but you are actually not spending time with them. The most valuable thing as a parent you can give to your child is your time. You need to reconsider your job. So studies have proven in Asian and non-Asian countries that uninvolved parenting have no structure and guidance, and it is very harmful for children's mental health. The second type of parenting is called the authoritarian parenting style. They will say, අපේ දෙමව්පියෝ අපිව හැදුවේ එහෙම තමයි. ඒක හින්දා හොඳට ගහලා බැනලා ළමයිව හදන්න ඕන. හැඳිනුගා හදන හොද්දයි, ගුටිනුගා හදන දරුවයි කිසි කමකට නැහැ. And people will say, අපි මෙතන ඉන්නේ අපේ ගුරුවරු අපිට ගහපු මනපු හින්දා. So then, if that is true, we should stop all the universities and close off all the universities and higher education centers, maybe even Cambridge and Oxford also, and let teachers hit you, so that will make everyone successful. And they will also say, අපේ teacher hari hondai, එයා hari sarai, එයාට බය හින්දා ළමයි වැඩ කරනවා. So if you are planning on making children do stuff by fear, when they are grown-ups, how are you going to say to them, follow the rules? Are you going to chase them with a stick in your hand? And they will say, මම කියන එක කිව්වා, කියන එක ඇහුවේ නැති හින්දා ගහන්න වුණා. So these are some of the myths people have, that hitting children can make them successful. Research all over the world, in Asia and in the West, have shown that it impairs the self-esteem and the personality development. අනිත් එක තමයි ගහලා බැනලා ළමයි හදන එක සාර්ථක ක්‍රමයක් නම් අපේ පාසල් ගාව ලෝකේ දියුණු රටවල educational specialists from Finland, Australia, Sweden should be lining up near our schools to learn our technique of hitting kids. Don't they? They should come from Finland to observe how our teachers are hitting our kids, because if it is so successful, why not these brilliant developed countries wouldn't be using those techniques? You have to think. So authoritarian parenting style includes a lot of criticism, and this is associated with long-term psychological problems, especially අධික්‍රියාකාරීත්වය සහ අඩු අවධානය. ඒ වගේම පිටතට පේන externalizing symptoms of children will be seen, and children who live under these kind of environments may become cyber bullies and have risky behaviors. The third parenting style is the permissive parenting style. මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවලදී දෙමව්පියෝ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දරුවගේ යාළුවෙක් වෙන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. එතකොට දරුවට යාළුවෝ ගොඩයි දෙමව්පියෙක් නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා children are children. When they do something wrong, there are no consequences, and they just say එහෙම කරන්න එපා පුතේ. And they give unlimited options. They will say, I have cooked dal with rice for you. If you don't want to eat, I will make some sausages. So they give unlimited options, preventing the child from learning behavioral boundaries and limit setting. When they come to see us, within 5 seconds, we know the parent is a permissive parent when they say, Doctor, මං ඉතින් කලින් ආවේ ඔබතුමාට මේ ගැටලු ගැන කියන්න. එයා ඉස්සරහා එයාගේ වැරදි කියන්න බෑනේ. එයාට දුක හිතෙනවනේ. Instantly, we know that this is a permissive parent and the hope is lost. So, permissive parents have no demands. They do not expect self-control and they are very lenient and they say, අපි ළමයාත් එක්ක හොඳට යාළුයිනේ. And when you have permissive parents, research has shown that it is associated with screen addiction, internet addiction, unhealthy eating, and very stressful adults when children grow up. වඩාත් සුදුසු parenting ක්‍රමය වන්නේ authoritative parent ක්‍රමය. Authoritative parents have very clear rules, established rules, and they are very emotionally responsive. ඒගොල්ලෝ දරුවන්ගෙන් ගොඩක් දේවල් බලාපොරොත්තු වුණාට හොඳින් හැඟීම් වලින් ඒගොල්ලන්ට දායකත්වය සහ සහාය ලබා දෙනවා. So they have very clear standards. ගෙදරින් ඔක්කොම වැඩිහිටියෝ are on the same page and they have same approach. They are very assertive. Even when the child is crying, asking for a screen time, if they know that is not appropriate for them, they will say, you have watched some cartoons, දැන් වෙලාව ඉවරයි. ඔයාට දුකයි කියලා මට තේරෙනවා. නමුත් වෙලාව ඉවරයි. So they are very assertive and supportive and they have very consistent parenting approach. So authoritative parents, what you need to do, check whether they have done their homework, help them for homework, limit the amount of screen time, always praise them and tell them, ඔයා හරි දක්ෂයි, ඔයා හරිම හොඳයි. And say that you are extremely proud of them. Next, we'll talk about few tips for parents and grandparents on online education and to make it structured and useful for children. First thing, lot of parents come and say, teacher is teaching online. හරිම අමාරුයි මෙයාව වාඩි කරලා තියාගන්න. You can't expect a small child to just sit for there for half an hour if the day is unstructured. So they should have a daily schedule. Every day, the time for playing, time for singing, time for playing, and time to have tea should be consistent. You can't change it day by day. It should be consistent. It should be drawn in pictures and put it somewhere so the kids and the parents can see. The place where they are doing the online education should be clutter-free and organized. අනවශ්‍ය පොත්, අනවශ්‍ය දේවල්, ඇඳුම් ඔක්කොම අයින් කරලා එතන clean space එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ and it should not be in front of a window or a place where they can get distractions. And only the books needed for that session should be there. Others should be color-coded and kept in a cupboard. ඒගොල්ලෝ online මාර්ගගත අධ්‍යාපනය සඳහා ඒගොල්ලෝ laptop එකක් හරි desktop computer එකක් පාවිච්චි කරනවා නම් බොහොම හොඳයි. එතකොට ඔබට protective softwares can be installed and the children could be protected from inappropriate web content. But ඔබට laptop එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න අපහසු නම් smartphone දුරකථනයක් පාවිච්චි කරනවා නම් ඒක අතේ තියාගෙන මාර්ගගත අධ්‍යාපනය කිරීම සුදුසු වන්නේ නැහැ. You need to keep that on a stand and make it stable so it will not cause eye strain and it will be organized. So you keep the smartphone on a small stand, keep it on the table, keep it at least 1 meter away from the eyes and the child should not be holding it. Lot of teenagers come and say, Dr. Uncle, I have so many online sessions, and when I have a break, I play video games or I listen to YouTube videos. දවස පුරාම විද්‍යුත් තිරමත කාලය ගත කරලා ටීචර් බ්‍රේක් එකක් දුන්නාම ඒකෙත් විද්‍යුත් තිරමත කාලය ගත කරනවා නම් මනසේ විඩාවක් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. It is essential that you emphasize to your teenage son or daughter, when you have a break between online sessions, you should go out and look at something far away so that your eyes and the mind is relaxed. You should not be spending the break times doing something on a screen or chatting with your friends. ස්මාරකගත අධ්‍යාපනය ලබා ගැනීමට සඳහා සූදානම් වෙනකොට කලින් දවසේම කරන්න ඕනේ වැදගත් දේවල් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. The child will not have time to read all the textbooks and getting prepared for the session. So what they can do is what we call survey of the sessions before the session starts. අච්චු පොත පෙරලලා ඒකේ තියෙන රූප සටහන් සහ diagrams, you can skim through them and you can have a general idea about the session. And there should be all the stationery should be available on the table with a glass of water. වතුරු වීදුරුවක් තිබුණාම ඒක වතුරු වීදුරුව අතෙන් ගන්නකොට අතේ තියෙන පුංචි joints හෙලවෙන හින්දා ඒකෙන් ලැබෙන ස්නායු උද්දීපනයෙන් දරුවගේ කලබල ගතිය අඩු කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So it is essential that all the stationery are available and they are not running around the house screaming for a pencil. During the online education time, many children are sedentary. They are inside the house without going outdoors, and that can cause childhood obesity and joint pain. It is very important that they engage in physical activity. How can you encourage them? By you doing physical activity. මිදුරට බහැලා පොඩ්ඩක් බෝලයක් පාස් කරන්න, ක්‍රිකට් ගහන්න, ෆුට්බෝල් ගහන්න, ගෙදර වටේ ඇවිදින්න, බල්ලෙක් හරි පූසෙක් එක්ක හරි සෙල්ලම් කරන එක අනිවාර්යයි. If it's a teenage daughter or son, you can ask them to do some skipping, which is very good to release protective hormones in the brain and which will itself improve the mental state of the teenager. COVID සමයේ ඊටාම වැදගත් දෙයක් තමයි දිනපතාම හිත සංසුන් කිරීමේ ව්‍යායාමවල නිරත වීම. Relaxation activities improve our immunity to infections like COVID. So it is clearly proven certain immune cells like the natural killer cells are better active when we do relaxation activities. So it will fight with the viruses and protect us from getting dangerous infections. So you should practice relaxation activities. ගෙදර ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා එක වෙලාවක් දාගන්න හවසට පුංචි හිත සංසුන් කිරීමේ ව්‍යායාමයක් කරන්න. කට්ටියම පුටුවක හරි බිම හරි වාඩි වෙලා ඇස් දෙක පියාගෙන නහයෙන් ගැඹුරු හුස්මක් අරගෙන කටින් හිමීට හුස්ම පිට කරන්න පුළුවන්. හුස්ම පිළිබඳ අවධානය තබා ගැනීමෙන් විනාඩි 5කින් හිතේ සංසුන් බව ඇති කරන්න පුළුවන්. But if the children are fidgety, running around, there are appropriate relaxation techniques for all ages and temperamental patterns. Teenagers sometimes may have tuition classes and extra lessons during night. But I strongly recommend that you should prevent your teenage son or daughter not to have screen time, especially after 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, because that can impair the electrical rhythms in the brain and can cause long-term psychological impacts. එතකොට ඔබේ දුව පුතා යම්කිසි අමතර පන්තියක් රැට තියෙන පන්තියකට සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා නම් ඒක දිගුකාලීන මනෝ ස්වභාවයට සුදුසු දෙයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක නවත්තන එක තමයි වඩා සුදුසු වන්නේ. And you should prevent your son or daughter engaging with screens at least 60 minutes before the screen time. ටැබ් එක හරි ෆෝන් එක හරි අතේ තියාගෙන නිදා ගන්න එක නම් හොඳ දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. And also teenagers, when they bored, they tend to get into screens a lot. And they will say, "Mata ninde yanne naha. Eka hinda thamai mang phone ekේ ඉන්නේ." Actually, it is not true. When they look at the screen, their emotional brains get activated and the brain can't rest to have a sleep. ඔබ ස්ක්‍රීන් එක දිහා බලලා ඔබ ආකර්ෂණය වෙන දෙයක් කියවුවාම හරි දැක්කාම හරි ඔබේ හැඟීම් වලේ උද්දීපනය වෙන හින්දා ඔබේ නිින්ද තවත් ප්‍රමාද වෙනවා. And it is essential, whatever the time they go to sleep, they wake up at a constant time. නවයෝන්ගේ පුතා දුව 11ට නිදාගත්තත් උදේ 2ට නිදාගත්තත් රෑ 12ට නිදාගත්තත් උදේ නැගිටින්න ඕනේ එකම වෙලාවට. That is very important to prevent sleep satiety being accumulated. Because if you wake up at different times, then the whole day's process and the memory and concentration can get affected. ඒ වගේම during this time, children may have lost lot of valuable time. If people ask me what is the most important period or the school teacher in the school, I would say for children, the playing time is the most important thing at school. Not maths, not science, not languages. Because playing time, that helps you to play with your friends, smile, be pleasant and courteous, and understand peer and social relationships and improve their emotional intelligence. That is more important than any mathematical formula. Unfortunately, during the last 2 years, our people were so scared to open the schools because, you know, if we open the schools and one child gets positive, all the cameramans will be around the school criticizing the principals. So because of that, to prevent that from happening, we have maintained the schools closed for a long time. I'm sure this has been so harmful. We will see the consequences of this in the decades to come. So because children are under pressure, please concentrate about concepts. Karunu. Peti hathare mal monad. ඕකට ලිස්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඔය ලිස්ට් එක පාඩම් කරන එක වැඩක් නෑ මේ වගේ නූතන අවධියක. මොකද විනාඩි 5කින් ස්මාර්ට්ෆෝන් දුරකථනයෙන් පෙති හතරේ මල් 100ක් දැනගන්න පුළුවන්. වඩා වැදගත් වෙන්නේ දරුවන්ට ඉගෙන ගැනීම. Learn to learn. සංකල්ප අවබෝධ කර ගැනීම. එතකොට අච්චු පොත්වල තියෙන ඔක්කොම උදාහරණ දරුවන්ගේ ඔළුවට ඔබන්න එපා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට අච්චු පොතේ පින්තූර වලින් පරිසරයෙන් සංකල්ප අවබෝධ කර ගැනීමට උදව් කරන්න. ලිස්ට් පාඩම් කරන එක නූතන අධ්‍යාපන ක්‍රමයට ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. Even though our exams are heavily exam focused, ideally we should be moving on to a competency driven education system. If your child is facing an exam, unfortunately, you have to go with this race. Then what you need to do is prioritize. Then, ඉස්සර අපි වෛද්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යයන් කාලෙදී කොළඹ බෝම්බයක් පිපිරුණාම තුවාලකාරයන් 100ක් 150ක් විතර කොළඹ ජාතික රෝහලේ අනතුරු අංශයට රැගෙන එනවා. අපි වෛද්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යයන් හැටියට ඒ ගැන මෙලෝ දෙයක් දන්නේ නැති වුණාට අපිත් එතන ගිහිල්ලා ට්‍රොලි තල්ලු කරන්න, සේලයින් බෝතල් අල්ලන් ඉන්න උදව් කරනවා. ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට තුවාලකාරයෝ 150ක් එක වෙලාවේ ආපුවාම සියලුම දෙනා රෝහල ඇතුළට ඇතුළත් කරොත් එක්කෙනෙක්වත් බේරන් ගන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. These times we do something called triage. Triage means we don't take the serious ones because if we can't save them, we are occupying a bed. We take people who the lives can be saved and පුංචි තුවාලයක් තියලා කෑ ගහන එක්කෙනෙකුට ටිකක් ඉන්න වෙනවා. So like that, because of this situation, ask your children, help them, talk to your teachers and categorize lesson to red, orange, yellow and green zones. Green zone එකේ තියෙන්නේ විභාගෙට ඉතාමත්ම කලාතුරකින් අහන පාඩම්. කහ පාටින් තියෙන්නේ විභාගෙට කලාතුරකින් ඉඳලා හිටලා වගේ අහන්න පුළුවන්. අවුරුදු 3-4කට සැරයක් විභාගෙට එන පාඩම්. Family parting orange is the lessons that can come but not The most frequent. Red is the lessons that are most important for the exam that you need to know. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ දාපු lessons වලට allocate study times. A, B, C, D, different allocated study times. And when you only complete the red zone, you move into the orange zone. That will relieve a lot of stress from the kids by helping them to prioritize essential lessons. මීළඟට මම කතා කරන්නේ නවයෝන්වියේ දරුවන්ගේ මානසික පීඩනය අඳුරගන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. This graph shows a normal mood variation during a day of an adult. So, in an adult like me, so in the x-axis it is the time, and on the y-axis you can see the mood changing. So when I wake up, when I see my kids, I feel happy and my mood is elevated. Then I go to the hospital and see 100 people waiting to see me, my mood goes down. And when I listen to my favorite music, my mood is back up. But if you take a teenager or a young person in their early 20s, this is their normal mood variation. They are listening to BTS, K-pop and Ed Sheeran, and they are screaming and dancing and so happy. Then the mother comes and says, ඔයාට විභාගයක් තියෙනවා ඕක වහලා දැන් පාඩම් කරන්න. They feel like the third World War has occurred and they are very angry and upset. So the mood changes so fast. The mood variability is high. If I'm depressed tomorrow, my mood will look like that, and you will ask me, මොකද hina වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ, කතා කරන්නෙත් නැහැ, පැත්තක් බලාගෙන ඉන්නේ. So my mood will remain low and persistently low. But if a teenager or a young adult is depressed, the mood variability is still there while the overall mood is low. Then people will say, Dr. කොහොමද අපේ පුතාට depressed කියලා කියන්නේ? දැන් මේ විනාඩි 5කට කලින් යාළුවෙකුට ටෙක්ස්ට් මැසේජ් එකක් යවලා hina වෙවි හිටියානේ. මේ දැන් අද හවස BTS සින්දුවක් දාගෙන නටනට හිටියානේ. කොහොමද depressed කියලා කියන්නේ? But this is because you are seeing them in these peaks. But overall mood is low. So only a highly trained person of years of psychotherapeutic training can detect the change in the mood. So when teenagers are depressed, you don't usually see the depressed mood. You see anger, irritability, getting upset for small things, tearfulness, and stubbornness. මුරණ්ඩුකම කියන එකට විරුද්ධ දේවල් කියන එක සහ කරන එක. So if a child, a teenager is having psychological stress, their behavior will change. A punctual, a pleasant looking teenager will suddenly be disorganized and not doing their work. Thoughts will also change. If they were like swimming with energy, they were dreaming of becoming a software analysis, network engineer. Now they are saying, කිසි දෙයක් කරාට වැඩක් නැහැ ડોක්ටර් අංකල්. කිසි දෙයක තේරුමක් නැහැ. මම නම් මේ විභාග වලට කැමතිම නැහැ. They are talking about lot of negative cognitions. Their feelings will change. They are usually funny, making jokes, running around, very friendly, emotionally warm. Suddenly they are හැම එකටම තරහ යනවා, feeling down, sad, tearful. So if there are changes in behavior, හැසිරීම, thoughts, සිතුවිලි, emotions, feelings, හැඟීම්, there may be indication of psychological distress in your teenage son or daughter. Please consult a mental health professional. As parents, what is our inheritance to our kids? Lands, vehicles? More than that, our inheritance to our kids and grandkids should be coping skills. මේ graph එකෙන් පෙන්වන්නේ x අක්ෂයෙන් පෙන්වන්නේ අපේ තියෙන මානසික පීඩනයේ ප්‍රමාණය. y අක්ෂයෙන් පෙන්වන්නේ එක් එක් පීඩන ලෙවල් එකේදී අපේ මනසේ ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය. When the stress is low, if there are no exams, our performance is obviously low. When the stress is at the correct amount, yellow, our performance is very good. When the stress becomes too much, red and orange, our performance again goes down. That is why when the teenagers are not organized, not studying during the semester, but only before the exam, are under huge stress. They think they are studying, but they are just turning pages. මේ වගේ අසංවිධානාත්මක ලෙස පාඩම් කිරීම අඩු අවධානයේ ලක්ෂණයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක නිසා දිගුකාලීන මානසික ආතතියක් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Due to chronic stress, it can lead to expression of stress in the form of physical symptoms like backache, headache, toothache. When you go to your family doctor, he will say, ඔක්කොම බැලුවා මොනවත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැනේ. But it could be due to psychological stress. So during this pandemic, many people are asking, අම්මෝ ගෙදර පුදුම රණ්ඩු, ගෙදර තරහ යනවා කට්ටිය මොකද කරන්නේ? What you need to do is train them on emotional awareness. If somebody asks me, what is the greatest skill a human can impart on another human, I would say emotional awareness. තමන්ගේ හැඟීම් තමන්ම අවබෝධ කරගෙන ඊට සුදුසු ප්‍රතිචාර දැක්වීමේ හැකියාව. So in this graph, in the x-axis on time and the y-axis shows emotional urge or emotions. And let's say you have your teenage daughter. You ask her to maybe stop following a certain musical group or stop listening to them. They are angry. Then their emotions peak like this. But if you teach them emotional awareness skills, how to recognize that you are angry. ඔයාට ටිකක් තරහ ගිහිලා නේද තියෙන්නේ. Then if they can develop these emotional awareness skills, they can suddenly use distraction techniques to stop this graph from rising further. විනාඩියක් නවත්තලා ගැඹුරු හුස්මක් ගන්න, එළියට ගිහිල්ලා කුරුල්ලෙක් දිහා බලන්න, නැත්තම් තරහ අඩු වෙනකන් ඈතට ගිහිල්ලා කූල් වතුරු වීදුරුවක් බොන්න. These distraction techniques, which are coping skills, can help the emotion curve to come down, so they can have a better organized response rather than saying rude and hurtful things to parents. So if you practice these emotional awareness skills every week, the intensity of anger will goes down. දිගු කාලයක් යනකොට මොලේ ස්නායු පද්ධතීන් වල ඇතිවන වෙනස්කම් නිසා තරහ යන ප්‍රමාණය සහ තීව්‍රතාවය අඩු වෙලා වඩාත් සංසුන් නවයෝන් වයසේ දරුවෙක් අපිට ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්. So in summary, ගෙදර COVID වසංගතේ නිසා ගෙදරටම වෙලා ඉන්න ළමයින්ගේ මානසික සෞඛ්‍ය රැක ගන්න අපිට මොනවාද කරන්න පුළුවන්? පළවෙනි කාරණේ තමයි we need to improve their resilience. That is, ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ පුංචි අවුල් හැම එකටම අත දාලා විසඳන්න යන්න එපා. Like for example, we ask them, take your books, take your water bottle, take your lunch box to school. You know that they have forgotten the water bottle even though you have said it 50 times. ඉස්කෝලේ ගාවට ගිහිල්ලා දුක හිතලා වතුර බෝතලයක් අරන් දෙන්න එපා. එක දවසක් වතුර බිව්වේ නැහැ කියලා මැරෙන්නේ නැහනේ. So you let them deal with that problem by themselves. Encourage emotional resilience. Teach them problem solving skills at home if they have small issues like no electricity. Encourage them to find solutions. Be aware of their mental health systems. වෙනදාට වැඩි තරහ යනවා, වෙනදා වගේ hina වෙන්නේ නැහැ, වෙනදා වගේ focus කරලා වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. So if these are there, try observe and නිරීක්ෂණය කරන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සිතුවිලි හැඟීම් සහ හැසිරීමේ වෙනස්කම් තියෙනවා නම් අපි ඒකට ඇක්ෂන් එකක් ගන්නවා. Wherever we live, we are Sri Lankans. Our cultural beliefs are so important to us, and we have a lot of cultural beliefs that will protect our mental health. Engage in spiritual activities, that is an essential part of life. Even if you don't believe in afterlife, spirituality can be an important part of emotional well-being. හැම වෙලේම දරුවන්ගේ යාළුවෝ ගැන හොයලා බලන්න. නරක යාළුවක් නම් කෑ ගහන්නේ නැතුව හොඳ යාළුවන් ගැන අගය කිරීමක් කරන්න. You should always know the names and the backgrounds of your friends, of your kids, and you should have your contacts with them and their parents. And නිතරම extended family එක life එකට involve කරගන්න. ආච්චි, සීයා, අත්තම්මා, අත්තා, they are very important people because the community, the interpersonal community is very important for the emotional well-being. Research has proven that children who spend time with parents and grandparents have better coping skills and emotional resilience. ගෙදර පරිසරය safe කරන්න. It's very important that you don't yell at each other when children are at home, and better you don't yell at each other at any time. If you really want to yell at each other, go to the washroom, yell at each other using your smartphone, not text each other, not in front of your kids. It is absolutely necessary. Parents do not use violence in any form in front of kids. The next thing is you should always have a positive relationship with your child. The most important thing that you can give to your child is not expensive toys, not subscription to Netflix, not the most expensive Apple iPhone. It is your time. Your time is the most valuable thing. Spend time with them, smile with them, and connect with them. Not as a friend, as a parent, as a supportive parent. That is very important for the mental health of our children. So if you want more information about mental health, you can go to this non-profit YouTube channel, Child Psychiatrist Sri Lanka. I have done my best with the busy clinical commitments to post some videos in Sinhalese and some in English about mental health awareness in teenagers and children. And obviously, you can contact Sri Lanka College of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists through our official Facebook page. You can go to Facebook and type Sri Lanka College of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists. We post important mental health information related to children and adolescents almost every day. Obviously, you can contact Sumithrayo and other mental health organizations as well if you need any support. So I would like to thank Sumithrayo and Lions Club of Colombo for inviting me to deliver this speech. I'm more than happy to answer any of the questions you have.
Thank you, Doctor. We are very grateful for that insightful presentation. Some very useful points and tips there for both parents and carers, which is very much needed today in these testing times. So thank you again, Doctor. We can now take in your questions. Please, if you have more questions, we've received some. You can choose the Q&A on your chat box. There's a Q&A option. Just select that and send in your question. Now, අපිට ලැබී ඇති ප්‍රශ්න මොනවාදයි බලමු. දැන් පළවෙනි question එක. Doctor, this is the first question. My 12-year-old son is always online playing games. Some are violent. He seems to be addicted, and I'm worried that there's nothing else he can do at home due to COVID. What kind of effect will this have? අපි ළමා කාලේ එළියේ සෙල්ලම් කරේ බැඩ්මින්ටන් ගාලා බයිසිකල් පැදලා. දැන් ළමයි ගොඩක් වීඩියෝ වලට ඇබ්බැහි වෙලා කියලා ડોක්ටර් දැන් කතා කරනවා. and සමහර අම්මලා කියනවා මේක දැන් සාමාන්‍ය දෙයක්. මේක වැඩි ගණන් ගන්න ඕන දෙයක් නෙමෙයි කියලා. අපි කොහොමද ડોක්ටර් ඒක ළමයිට බලපාන හැටි මේ අඳුරගන්නේ? ඒක ඇත්තට වීඩියෝ එක ක්‍රීඩා නරකද?
So most of the time, when I ask teenage boys, why are you playing this game? He says, all my friends have this game, Dr. Uncle. What am I supposed to do? I'm at home. So if I stop this, I will have nothing to discuss with my friends. So unfortunately, some permissive parents of your classmates will have been given unlimited screen time to their kids, putting all the kids in danger. First thing you need to do is go to www.esrb.org, Entertainment Software Rating Board website, and type the name of the game your son or daughter is playing and get the rating first. It will show whether it has a higher violence rating. Maybe if there's a higher violence rating and when you stop your son from playing it, there are going to be a lot of screams and violence at home. But parents are not friends. Parents are not there to be friends. දෙමව්පියෝ ඉන්නේ අපි මේ ලෝකේ නැති දවසටත් අපේ දරුවෝ සන්තෝෂෙන් තියන්න මිස අද සන්තෝෂෙන් තියන්න නෙමෙයි. So we stop that. If the violence rating is high, you stop it and you face the consequences. If you think your child is very impulsive and will have difficulties when you remove this game, you consult a child and adolescent psychiatrist or call a place like Sumitra and get advice. And also I have to mention places like Shanti Margam. I'm a director at Shanti Margam, Sumitra, Shanti Margam, CCC, all the hotlines are available. And also 1926, the national hotline for mental health problems in teenagers. And then when the app is removed, if you think that when the app is removed, there are going to be a lot of violence and distress for the teenager, consult a mental health professional. We will have some strategies like teaching them coping skills, talking to them, and sometimes if the addiction is so severe and they have already developed mental health, they may require some medications for a brief time to help them stop having negative consequences. You know what has happened recently when a mother removed a certain electronic device from a teenage boy. It will depend on the temperament. So we can't give advice for all the teenagers at once because each have unique different parenting personality and temperamental patterns that we need to observe before specific advice. So if they are playing a video game non-violent, the ESRB rating is low, then what you can do is have clear rules. Okay, දවස් 5 සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එපා. සෙනසුරාදා ඔයාට පැය 2ක් දෙන්නම්. ඒ රූල් එක ඔයාට මේන්ටේන් කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඔයාට දිගටම ගේම් එක ගහන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ රූල් එක ඔයාට මේන්ටේන් කරන්න බැයි නම් අපි Wi-Fi ගෙදරදී යූස් කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපච්චිට work කරන්න වෙන්නේත් නැහැ. He will go somewhere and work. So you have to have clear standards, authoritative parenting approach. Always think parents will take blame. You know, as parents and grandparents, we have to get the blame. They will say, "Appachi oya nan harima narakai, oya mata meka sellam karanna denne naha." We are not there to be friends. We are there to make them happy in the long run.
Thank you, Doctor. This is another one. We are all home due to the pandemic, but our teenage son barely speaks to us. He rarely interacts with us or comes out of his room. What can we do to help him communicate with us? There's a similar question also. Mage puta usas pela panti igena ganne. ඔහු අසභ්‍ය වීඩියෝ පට නරඹන්න ඇබ්බැහි වෙලා කියලා අපිට තේරිලා තියෙනවා. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට කාමරේ දොර වහගෙනම ඉන්නේ. පුතා මේ දවස්වල ටිකක් ආවේශශීලී නිසා ඒ ගැන ඇහුවේ නැහැ. අපි කොහොමද මේ තත්ත්වය එක්ක කටයුතු කරන්නේ?
So when you go to UK and Australia, every week somebody comes and talk to you about preventing fires. So you wonder, you have never seen a building on fire, but every time they come and prepare you for an emergency situation. So when half of the building is on fire, is not the time for the fire drill. You get prepared beforehand to prepare an emergency. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දෙමව්පියෝ ඇවිල්ලා අහනවා ළමයා කතා කරන්නේ, video games සෙල්ලම් කරනවා, මොකද කරන්නේ? Usually, children who get addicted to video games are who have had impulsive temperament since the younger days. පුංචි කාලේ ඉඳලා පොඩ්ඩක් නැත්තම් අප්සෙට් යන, තරහ යන, වැඩ අවසන් කරන්න නැති, අඩු අවධානයේ තියෙන ළමයි තමයි what we call the impulsive temperament, where children do not focus, do not listen, do not complete work. They are the children who are more likely to develop video gaming addiction, and also permissive parents, the worst kind. So that is the associations relating to screen addiction. So very suddenly they come and ask us, now it is so severe, do something. It is very hard because that situation, you need cognitive behavior therapy by a child psychiatrist, because that requires a lot of intense work. So because of the low number, sometimes it's difficult. So what you need to do is prevent this from happening. But if it has already developed, one thing that is very common is in the middle adolescence, when the self-identity is forming, sometimes when you try to talk more with the teenage son, they stop talking more and more. Usually, then parents are kittu enna utsaha karanakota thawa ඈත් වෙනවා. So you need to have a 50-50 balance. You indirectly communicate with them. For example, you know that when they are looking at the computer, they are not going to talk to you. You have tried it 10 times. Come on, learn a lesson. Make a chocolate drink, go to their room, knock at the door, go and keep it near him, and just pat on their back and say, I'm so proud of you, and just leave. You know they are not going to talk to you. Then go step by step in a hierarchical manner. Next day, you say hi, or you say something funny, or you give a comment, or you make some funny thing about a girl or something. Then gradually, you know that they like rugby, and you say that, come on, Argentina is playing Australia, let's come and watch it. Step by step, you increase the social emotional relationship. Yes, it takes time. If you want your son to speak into you for hours from the next day, I'm sorry, I don't have a solution for that. But gradually, if you approach them in a hierarchical manner, you can have a better relationship.
Thank you, Doctor. The next one, kids' normal routines have been disrupted. They eat a lot of junk food, stay up late, have no exercise. We are under stress, and it's hard not to give in to their demands. Is it all right for me to let them be this way for now and hope things will get back to normal once the pandemic is over?
So it's a difficult question to answer because these are extraordinary times. And our knowledge about managing children during pandemics come from pandemics in Africa and Spanish flu many decades ago. Those are not relevant for us. As medical professionals, we are also looking for certain answers. But I can say is that you have to maintain the basic concepts of authoritative parenting, that is clear standards. Now, especially many people say, "Ayya nangita gahanawani." පිරිමි ළමයි සරයිනේ ડોක්ටර්. ඉතින් මම ඔකට මොනවත් කරන්නේ නැහැ. But violence, especially physical violence, you should never tolerate it, and there should be time out all the time. ඔයා ආයෙ නංගිට ගැහුවොත් ඔයාව කාමරයට විනාඩි 10කට ගහනවා. ඔයා sorry කියලා කියනකම් ඔයාව එළියට ගන්නෙ නැහැ. Obviously, if your son is 17 years of age, you can't put him in the room. You should start it when he is 5. So it is very important you avoid certain boundaries not being crossed, especially violence. Then, අම්මි මම ඔයා දුන්න chocolate ඔක්කොම කෑවා, තව එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? Those rules can be broken. You have to be flexible and emotionally responsible. අම්මි මම Shaun the Sheep බැලුවා. I'm watching Peppa Pig. Can I watch for half an hour more because I'm so bored? Okay. Then you have to do extra half an hour homework when Tati comes. So you give them something, get them out of them something. එහෙනම් ඉවර වෙලා ආච්චිට කෝල් එකක් දෙන්න විනාඩි 15ක. So you always keep a reward system active at home. Reward system means everything they like to do, like screen time, they have to complete things to get that time. So screen time is a privilege, not something you will get all the time. To teach them that, please don't use smartphones and be on call at home all the time. Gathering enakotama, especially dads, keep your smartphones near the door in a box and close it. If you are doing a job that requires you to answer calls, maybe better to give that up and look for a new job, because children are the most important thing. And you have to show them, at least on Sundays, read the book so they can see it. Play some games in the garden so they can see you, and you are the role models. More than 1,000 words, how they act in front of them is very important.
Thank you, Doctor. You mentioned that you can't use this on the teenagers, the older children. How would you suggest dealing with the older children, where you can't actually use the timeout rule? How would you manage that?
So, but I have come across this like this. So sometimes parents come and say, my son is 16 years of age. He's going to do O-levels and he's always angry. එයාට හැම වෙලේම තරහ යනවා. අපි හිත ගන්න කිව්වොත් එයා වාඩි වෙනවා, වාඩි වෙන්න කිව්වොත් හිත ගන්නවා. මාර කරදරයක් තියෙනවා. So then when let's say a counselor or a psychologist or a child psychiatrist advises them, after we say something to them, they say, මමත් ඔය ටිකම තමයි ડોක්ටර් කිව්වේ. මම නම් හිතන්නේ නෑ ඕක වැඩ කරයි කියලා. But when they come in 4 weeks time, doctor මෙයා වෙනස් වෙලානේ. දැන් මෙයා ටිකක් තරහ යන එක අඩු වෙලානේ. Because sometimes when the third party like a professional tells the same thing in a different tone, it works. Why does that happen? Because in our unconscious mind, we have given our father and mother a certain role. So suddenly, if you become a mental health counselor or a teacher during the pandemic, children can't shift these roles suddenly. අම්මි මොකද මේ මාත් එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න නැතුව මම අකුරු ගන්නන්න ඉන්නේ මොකද ටීචර් වගේ. They can't change that role, so they will not accept it. So many mothers come and say, මම කිව්වොත් නම් ලියන්නෙම නෑ අකුරු. මම තාත්තට කෝල් එකක් අරගෙන තමයි මෙයාට අකුරු ලියවන්නේ. So they can't change this role suddenly. So because of that, so many people postpone getting mental health support. So if at the beginning it is only anger and irritability, so ඔය psychiatrist ලව හම්බෙන්න බෑ, ඔය doctors අර කියන ඒවා කරලා විකාර වෙනවා, so they postpone. Now after few months, the anger plus now the complications have developed. Academic deterioration, poor peer relationship, poor approach with the parents, violence, video gaming addiction, all have now come on. Now you come and talk to us and we feel like doing something, because now there are so many complexes, because there are so few of us, it's very difficult to provide intensive treatment. So it is important when you see a mental health behavior, emotion or thought change in your teenage son or daughter, immediately call Sumitrayo or other hotlines and get advice soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. This is another one on studying and online. My 10-year-old dislikes online classes and rarely does his homework. He gets very angry with me when asked to do it. This is what you mentioned a bit earlier also, Doctor. He also knows that my husband and I disagree on how to manage the situation, and he turns to his father when he wants to get out of doing his studies. What should I do?
Right. So let's say when that mother and father comes to us, if I tell them, දැන් අම්මයි තාත්තයි හැමදේටම විරුද්ධ අදහස් දන්නවා නම් ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලෝ එකම විදියට වැඩ කරන්නකෝ. That is easy for me to say, but people have this personality and learn patterns of behavior for years. You can't change it within 1 week. මොකද ඇත්තටම ළමයෙක් බලනකොට ඒ ළමයාගේ අම්මගේ තාත්තගේ ළමා කාලය ගැනත් අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අත්තම්මගේ සීයාගේ ළමා කාලය ගැනත් අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ. So in other countries when we work with children, we spend hours knowing how the grandparents lived their childhood, because grandparents' childhood made who the grandparents are today. Grandparents made the parents who are today. So it's a long process. So if you have disagreements, the first rule, do not yell or disagree in front of the child. Disagree through a text message or when the child is not at home. So that is very important. Even though you are not a good team, at least pretend and show to your children that you are a brilliant team. Second thing, if you are disagreeing on many things, please divide the decision-making topics. Okay, finances, you. What to bring home for cooking, you. Learning related matters with academics, you. Playing with kids and screen time, you. Divide the topics, and other person, please respect the other parent and do not infiltrate and take decisions when the other person is there. Also, there is the cool dad syndrome is also there. Cool dad syndrome is when fathers who are mostly away from work suddenly comes home late at night and try to play the cool dad role. They will say, "Me nonata pissu ya me iskole වැඩ කරන්න ළමයින්ට බයිනවා එන්න පුතේ අපි බලමු movie එකක්." So they try to play the cool dad role. So they try to act as permissive parent to be loved, because they have been away so long. They feel guilt by not being there. How they get rid of their guilt is playing the cool dad role. Also rarely played by moms as cool mom role. So this is not very good. Come on, you are causing more harm. So sometimes if the mothers and fathers' personalities are so drastically different, I'm sure you can't come to this level. Maybe come 5% lower and you 5% up. So at least there is some consistency. So if you see a mental health professional, this slight consistency can be achieved. So it is important, online education, if you feel the child is getting angry and not being able to concentrate, that is an indication of psychological stress and you need mental health support. But if not, මෙයා නිකන් මේ වෙලාවකට වැඩ කරනවා වෙලාවකට වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ වගේ කියන වැඩ කරන්නත් පුළුවන් නම් ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැත්තම් pretend that you are agreeing on things, have a schedule. For each schedule that they complete, have a reward scheme. ඔයා මෙන්න විනාඩි 45ක් වැඩ කරොත් you are going to get 1 token, and when you get 10 tokens, you are going to get maybe a trip to Pizza Hut, or නැත්නම් ආච්චි බලන්න යන්න පුළුවන් දවස් 3කට, something like that. Have a reward scheme that may work.
Thank you, doctor. That was very useful. The other question is, my teenage daughter's best friend lost a relative to COVID. My daughter feels very sorry for her friend and wants to comfort her, but she doesn't know how. She's also now very scared that one of us may get it, the parents. How can I help and reassure her?
The first thing you need to do is say to your daughter, I'm so proud of you. Look, you have already recognized that your friend is suffering. I'm so proud that I made you, because you have already considering to help your child. That shows you are so empathetic. Then there are sort of material on internet, but if you can search the appropriate websites, you can show being sympathetic is you cry with the friend, but it is unlikely to help your friend. 2 people crying, okay, not so helpful. Being apathetic, ඕන යාළුවගේ ගෙදර කට්ටියනේ මරන්නේ අපිට මොකෝ කියලා පැත්තක් බලන් ඉන්න. That is also not helpful. Being empathetic is teach them, talk to your friend or send a text message. You don't have to do anything to make that person happy sooner. Just listen. Listening is the most important thing, and letting them know that you are there. මටත් මාර දුක්ඛයි ඔයාටගේ තාත්තට වෙච්ච දේ ගැන ඔයාට කාට හරි කතා කරන්න ඕන නම් මම ඕන වෙලාවක ඔයා කියන එක අහගන්න ලෑස්ති වෙලා ඉන්නේ. When a person is crying in front of us, we have the urge to say something like this. අඬන්න වැඩ අඬලා වැඩක් නෑනේ දැන් එයා ආපහු එන්නේ නෑනේ. Those are the most worst things you can say to a person who's suffering. Never say things like that. Say අපි එකතු වෙලා මේකට මුහුණ දෙමු. ඔයාට අහන්න ඔයාට කතා කරන්න ඕනේ කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් කතා කරන්න. So you tell your daughter to do these things and you can itself do it. You can say, send a text message to your friend saying, auntie, that is me, is ready to talk to her if she wants to talk to someone. So those are the things you can do.
Thank you, Doctor. There's another question from the audience. Is it so important to educate children on suicide, especially in schools? What is an appropriate age to educate students on suicide in schools? How do you balance between not putting ideas into their head so that they may consider it or be fearful of it without actually educating them for awareness purpose?
Okay, so if you look at the cognitive development of children start to understand the concept of death or losing someone or bereavement at the age of 5 years. And children establish this understanding of death, that the person who have died will never come back, by the time of 11 years. So talking about suicides to children below the age of 11 may not have long-term sustainable benefits because they will not understand it fully. So I would say by the early adolescence, you need to start talking about preventing suicide. So what you need to say is, develop emotional awareness. තමන්ට දුකක් හිතුන වෙලාවට ඒක අඳුරගන්නේ කොහොමද? දුකක් හිතුන වෙලාවට කාටද කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. So if you have opened a good relationship with your son or daughter, හිතේ අප්සෙට් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් පරිසරයක් ගෙදර ඇති කරලා තියෙනවා නම් they will come and talk to you. Creating that opportunity and space is very important so they can come and talk to you. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මොකද වෙන්නේ, daughter is talking about a boy in her tuition class and you suddenly say things like ඕවා ගැන දැම්ම හිතන්න එපා, ඕවා ඔයාට වයසට ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. So next time when they get the phone number from that boy, they are not going to come and talk to them. So creating the space, saying that you are good listener and you are good emotional source. So what our parents do, hospital එකට ගියාම before the injection is given, we say පොඩ්ඩක්වත් රිදෙන්නේ නැහැ බබෝ. අපි මේක ගහලා ඉවර කරමු. So they know that you are lying and you are never the better information source. So don't lie to your kids and be reliable information sources and they will come and tell you at the required time. So I would say start talking to them about suicide, sexuality, substances after the age of 11, that is in the early adolescence.
Thank you, Doctor. I think we can take one more question. My child sees a lot of worrying information on social media. They are scared when they see news of children, teens getting COVID and are worried about getting it and being in hospital, possibly alone. What can I say to them?
So if a teenager comes and say, Dr. Uncle, මේ COVID එක හින්දා කට්ටිය බැනනවා, ඒක හින්දා මට ගොඩක් බය හිතෙනවා කියලා, what I would say is, මටත් බය හිතෙනවා. මම විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍යවරයෙක් වුණාට මටත් බයයි හොඳටම. So acceptance, that is very important. That is not in our culture. Let's say if you are driving in the middle of the night and the car breaks down, and if there's a male, if you ask them ටිකක් බයයි නේද මෙතන ඉන්න එක, they will say නෑ බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නෑ. So not accepting our emotions is part of our culture. We say නෑ අවුලක් නෑ, but there is a අවුල. So accepting emotions in front of kids is very important. So you say that මටත් බයයි පුතේ, මටත් මේවා දකින්නකොට හරි බයයි, But my suggestion is you have to limit the news items your kids are showing. So one of the most dangerous programs that you can show to a child is 7 p.m. news in Sri Lanka. So better not watch Sri Lankan news ever. Obviously, if you watch an international news provider, you can see that they take 10 minutes for a news item. They give first the news, then two people from two sides give a critical analysis, then there's an interpretation. That is not seen in our news and it's very dangerous. So you have to limit the amount of news items and news time that they see. And obviously in social media, there are antisocial people who fabricate and make misinformation to scare people. So limiting, so especially important on messenger networks, you have to block so many people who share dangerous information on social media. Please don't follow people. Obviously on certain social media platform, you can't have a control. So you need to ask them to be not on those social media, but some social medias you can control, only that you see information from the people you follow. So then you have to advise them, please don't follow them because they can cause unnecessary panic and mental distress. So that is the advice I can give about that.
Sorry, just to wind up, just a summary question, just to wind up the Q&A section. Just as a summary, I know you covered this in the presentation in detail, but what would be like a few red flags that we can identify in children as them being either suicidal or having thoughts of it?
So the red flags are a drastic change in the behavior. Pleasant, smiling teenager suddenly not talking to you. Helpful, kind teenager becoming angry and stubborn. There is a drastic change. If it has happened over a few years, it may be related to how you have raised them. But if it has occurred over a few months, you need to be alert. Please don't postpone getting help. I totally understand seeing a psychiatrist is not a vacation, and many of you hate that. That is why Sumitrayo and other organizations are there, so you can get appropriate advice in these situations.
Thank you very much, Doctor. That was invaluable information and tips, advice, and a lot of learnings for us. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today with the question and answer session. Thank you all for taking part. I would now like to invite Mrs. Dil Piyaratna, Director, Outreach and Publicity Officer, Sri Lanka Sumitrayo, to conduct the vote of thanks.
Hello, everyone. What a great webinar we just had. Wonderful to see over 100 participants joining via Zoom for us. It is my honor and privilege now to give a vote of thanks to all those who helped make this happen. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Muru Chandradasa for his great presentation and for the very informative Q&A session. So many questions were answered. This topic and the answers are very important to the parents and children alike in these troubled times we are all going through, especially on World. We are very grateful, Dr. Muru. I would also like to thank the Lions Club of Colombo for collaborating with us and giving their full support to make today's event a success. Club President Lion Asitha Pinnaduwa, First Vice District Governor Lion Shayana Jayala, First Vice President Lion Suranjini Vikramaratne, Finance and Fundraising Chair Lion Dilshad Hassan, and Communication and Chairperson and today's moderator Lion Kulmi Gunatilak. What a great job you did, Kulmi. Thank you so much. From Sri Lanka Sumitrayo, I would like to thank our chairperson, Kumudini De Silva, who spearheaded this effort and obtained everyone's support to organize this webinar even amidst the pandemic and curfew. I would like to thank also the Deputy Chairperson, Mrs. Hema Ranatunga, and all our branch heads for their unwavering support in everything we do. I must thank our publicity group, Shamita, for taking on a huge amount of work. Kumi, Rani, and Nalit for all the work they undertook. Also to all our Sri Lanka Sumitrayo volunteers in all branches and outreach who dedicate themselves in helping others every single day, even during pandemic. Lastly, I would like to thank all who participated in the webinar today. Thank you everyone once again for making it a great success.
Thank you to our lovely director, Dil. We are now at the end of this program. I have to say to our FB users, an apology, sorry, we had a few issues live streaming it, but we will definitely have this recorded session available to you on the Sri Lanka Sumitrayo and Lions Club of Colombo host pages soon. We hope you all found the program useful. If you know of anyone who is suicidal or even in danger to themselves, please share the Sumitrayo numbers. You could actually save a life. Members, වැඩසටහන ඔබ ගොඩාක් ප්‍රයෝජනක් වුණායි අපි හිතනවා. සියදිවි නසා ගැනීම හෝ තමන්ට අනතුරේ සිටින කිසිවෙකු ගැන ඔබ දන්නේ නම් ඔවුන්ට සුමිත්‍රයෝ අංක ලබා දෙන්න ඔබට ජීවිතයක් බේරා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. එහෙනම් ඔබ සැමට සුබ දවසක්. Thank you for joining us and we wish you a good day.